My name's Ahorata Tlhaledi Botelo. I am the acting head of legal services and board secretary here at the Botswana Stock Exchange, and I will be officiating proceedings for you this morning. I would first of all like to observe all protocol by welcoming our guest of honor, Professor Sheila Tlo, female members of Botswana Stock Exchange Management, our brokers, Botswana Stock Exchange staff, our valued stakeholders, and the media. Like all other stock exchanges in the world, today we are commemorating and celebrating International Women's Day, and we will be ringing the bell for gender equality. We are celebrating International Women's Day under the theme, Balance for Better. I welcome you all today and thank you for honoring us with your presence. Without taking any more of your time, I would like to welcome our Head of Market Development, Ms. Thapelo Moribame, to do our welcome remarks.
Good morning. Thank you. To start off, thank you so much, Director of Ceremonies, Ahorata. I would also like to greet Professor Sheila Tlo, the co-chair of the Global HIV Prevention Coalition and the co-chair of the Nursing Now Global Campaign. I would also like to greet Mpho Mogasha, the head of finance and administration, Masego Peto, head of clearing and settlement, BSE staff, valued stakeholders, BSE brokers, members of the media, friends and family of the BSE. So happy International Women's Day to all of you. It is an honor to welcome you to the BSE, and it is even a greater honor to welcome you to the March opening bell ceremony. We started the opening bell ceremonies some time back. That was in June 2018. We have invited dignitaries. We have had the VP. We've had ministers. We've had business people, diplomats. But I must say that this is one of my favorites because we are celebrating a cause that is close to our hearts, which is the issue of gender equality on International Women's Day. As you are aware, as the BSE, we don't just operate in isolation. We are a member of international organizations that do not only provide an extension of our mandate from an issuance and investment perspective, but from a responsible citizen perspective as well. So 2019 marks the 5th anniversary of the Ring the Bell initiative in celebration of International Women's Day. And by being here today, really, you are part of history in the making because most of the stock exchanges around the world are commemorating International Women's Day today, and they're ringing the bell for gender equality. So you are part of history in the making, like I've already said. As the BSE, we pioneered the Ring the Bell initiative in celebration of International Women's Day in 2018 at the Listings and Investment Conference that was held at the GICC. Some of you must remember what we did when we ran, the fact that we rang the bell on stage during the conference. So this is because as the BSE, we are a partner exchange of the UN Sustainable Stock Exchanges Initiative, which really says that as stock exchanges, we should observe or really be part of certain causes that are important to society, not just focus on your listings and investment issues. So I'm going to share with you some statistics that I picked as I was preparing for today. The UNSSE gender report says that women take home 1/10 of global income while accounting for 2/3 of the global working hours. So what this means is that we take less as women while we work hard. So, I mean, this is a clear business case for all of us to get involved. In addition to that, girls and women only have access to equal education in only 25 countries, which is rather sad looking at the number of countries that are there around the world. So Mpho Mogasha is going to share with you statistics on how we are doing as the BSE. And I must say that we are doing pretty good. So like I've said, Mpho is going to give a presentation on that. So on the market performance side, when we started the opening bell ceremonies, we said we're going to use this platform to share with you issues, or to discuss rather, or deliberate on issues that are important to the exchange and to the capital markets. So I'm happy to report on market performance. On the market capitalization side, on the equity side, or domestic equity rather, we are standing at 42.1 billion as at end of February 2019. On the foreign equity side, we are at 370.3 billion, and that brings total market capitalization of BSE listed companies to 412 billion. So on the bond side, on the government bonds, market capitalization stands at 9.6 billion. On the corporate bonds, it's at 5.4 billion, and bringing total market cap to 14.9 billion. So ladies and gentlemen, the top 5 traded companies, according to volume, is Fenmat, NAP, Bank ABC, Letero, and BTCL. I won't say the numbers, but we can circulate a printout after this opening bell ceremony. And then the top 5 traded companies by value are Fenmat, Sechaba, NAP, Bank ABC, Letero, in that order. And on the equity side, we have 34 companies listed. On the bond side, we have 48 bonds currently, and we have 3 exchange-traded funds. As far as delistings, we have only lost Fenmat on the 22nd of February when the company delisted. So on the average daily turnover, on the equity side from January to February, we are currently standing at 5.2 million. So this is just to say that we are on our 3rd year of the strategy, so we are still marching on and working hard to develop the capital markets. So on a happy note, you might realize that the CEO of the BSE is not here today. Ratsole is currently in Cape Town, so he sends his apology. The reason why he's in Cape Town is a positive or happy one, so to speak. So a few weeks ago, the SRP, a division of the Euromoney Global Limited, informed us that as the BSE, we have been nominated for 2 categories at the annual SRP Awards. So we were nominated for the Best Educational Initiative Africa Award, alongside all the Africa Stock Exchanges and other financial organizations. We are also nominated for the Best Exchange Award, alongside the NSE, JSE, and the ZAX. So I am happy to say that as the BSE, we have won the Best Educational Initiative Africa Award. So this is very positive and encouraging because we always work hard to promote financial literacy in Botswana and financial inclusion. So this is really a milestone for the BSE. So again, the African Business Central named the BSE as one of the 6 largest stock exchanges in sub-Saharan Africa in February, ranking at position 2 in terms of market capitalization. So you can see where all our initiatives as far as the BSE strategy are leading to. So today I'm very happy and delighted to have Professor Tlo with us today. She's our guest of honor. She'll be addressing you in a bit. Professor Tlo is one of the ladies that I really admire. I admire her greatly. She's well accomplished. Most of you are very familiar with her work. She's beautiful. She's very kind. When I called her, to invite her to be with us today, she was very quick to say yes, which is very commendable. I mean, I speak for all females in this room when I say you are an inspiration to all of us. So with those few remarks, I conclude my welcome remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mamuribame. Indeed, we really have a lot to celebrate this morning and to be grateful for. I would now like to call to the podium Mrs. Mpho Mokgasha, our Head of Finance and Administration, to give you a presentation on gender equality programs at the Botswana Stock Exchange.
Dumelang. Thank you, Motsamaisi Tiro. How much time am I given? So the first slide there is the picture there. The picture says 1,000 words. But that picture to the BSE, it just communicates BSE approach to gender equality. That picture demonstrates the support for equal treatment of men and women through our policies and our laws. It shows our support for equal access to resources and services in the workplace. So we do this through different tools in the BSE, the first one being our conditions of service. So in our conditions of service, they basically show the terms and conditions of employment at the BSE. And in there, BSE commits to providing equal opportunities of employment. This could be at the point of entry, during recruitment, it could be during promotions or acting appointments. And in there, BSE also commits to not discriminating based on gender, marital status, physical disability, age, or race. We also support equal treatment of all genders through our human resource policies. So we have a sexual harassment policy at the BSE. This goes for both men and women. I get it's where sexual harassment goes for, for women only. But here, sexual harassment policy covers both men and women. And this offense is classified as a dismissible offense. So that's how serious we are about gender equality. We also provide maternity and paternity leave. This is just us trying to acknowledge the caring responsibilities of both men and women towards their families and trying to promote a work-life balance for our employees. And then our remuneration policy, the structure of our remuneration is such that we reward positions and not individuals. So position of finance and administration manager now doesn't mean rega change the pay when it's occupied by a male. So there is no gender pay gaps at the BSE. We also provide equal training opportunities for all. We also provide equal opportunities for all members of staff. Since we're a service organization, our biggest assets are really our people. And we operate in an industry where it's forever changing. So we provide equal training opportunities for all males and females. Since 2007, we've sent 10 employees for a management development program. Out of those 10 employees, 60% are males and then 40% are females. We also recognize equal treatment for men and women with the amenities that we provide for our employees. BSE. And in that gym, we have female and male washrooms. We also provide male and female conveniences, which are designed for their specific needs. So that's a one size fits all. We have a staff welfare committee at the BSE, which undertakes several staff welfare activities, which are all inclusive of all genders at the BSE. We commemorate both international and national days set aside to acknowledge issues affecting both genders. So we're going to celebrate Men's Day, so Women's Day hela. And then I've compiled some statistics here to demonstrate that we are conscious of gender equality and to demonstrate the balance in the activities or the balance in our policies and the staff that we've recruited here. So BSE has a staff complement of 25 people. Out of those, 44% are males and 56 are females. So that's how balanced, almost balanced. Then in leadership positions, we win. So in leadership positions there, we're doing very great. 50% males, 50% females. So now going forward, hile 5 minutes. So going forward, BSE strives to build a workplace, continues to build a workplace culture that supports gender equality. We do this by being aware of the importance of gender equality and respectful relationships. We're aware of international tools such as the UNDP Equality Seal Certification, which is a tool that provides incentives for public and private enterprises to meet gender equality standards in the workplace. So this tool focuses on 6 areas, which I'll quickly go through. So these key areas are eliminating gender-based pay gaps, remuneration structure, so you are doing well there. Increasing women's role in decision-making, women in leadership positions at the BSE, so we're doing well there as well. Enhancing work-life balance, the maternity and paternity leaves, I spoke about that. Enhancing women's access to non-traditional jobs. We do not discriminate based on gender or anything. So every position at the BSE is available to any gender. And then eradicating sexual harassment at work, we have the policy to that effect. And then using inclusive, non-sexist communication. Then going forward again, we're ready to talk about gender inequality and gender stereotypes. We're open to doing things differently, and we're committed to taking action to build a fairer workplace, because at the BSE, we do not see gender, but humanity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mamokasha. I'm now going to proceed to introduce our guest of honor and keynote speaker for our proceedings this morning. She's a familiar face, somebody whom I think even if she was to come onto the stage with us introducing who she is, we would all know who she is. She has gone through great strides to put our country on the international map in terms of the work that she has done. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Sheila Tlo to the stage to give us her keynote address for our proceedings this morning.
Thank you very much. Happy International Women's Day, everybody. Yeah, women, please clap for your hands. This is our day. This is our day, eh? Well, let me recognize my colleagues, the ladies who are up there with me. This is a very gender-balanced panel. That's the way things should be. So, thank you very much, Me Dibotelo, Director of Ceremonies, and I want to recognize the ladies, Me Tapelo Muribami, Me Masejo, and Me Mpho Magashwila. So it's really great to see young people right here being leaders in organizations such as this, especially women. I think the BSLE is a great, what should I say? I think it's an organization that a lot of organizations here in Botswana should emulate. Yeah, the future is bright. The future is female, and the future is now. So anyway. Well, I think I can see. These are just reading glasses, so I'm fine without them. Okay. So, I want to recognize also members of the media houses here present, also civil society representatives here present. Let me say that I was born and bred in civil society. So whatever it is that I am right now, I owe it to having been an activist. And indeed, speaking for, and sometimes without fear, or favor, has really led me to where I am and where I'm able to even say at global level, this is what we need to do. So I bring you greetings from the United Nations family. As you are aware, I'm representing you outside. I'm the chair of the Global HIV Prevention Coalition. I've already retired. Somebody said to me, we thought we have retired. How come you are still outside? And I said, well, you know what? I'm retired, but I'm not tired. So the United Nations recognized that actually retirement was because we have no money, thanks to the Trump government cutting funds. So as a result, we had to retire, but they also recognized that there are people there who still can contribute. So I was put in charge of really managing and working with countries that are contributing more to HIV infections than others. Botswana was not included in that because it's a small country. Much as we say we are affected by HIV, we really are small. We are not contributing the numbers that countries such as America, Russia, India, Nigeria, would contribute. So that I'm working with those countries, about 35 of them. But we recently put in Botswana because we are seeing that the number of new infections is rising. So I had to use my own nepotism to say, Botswana is part and parcel. I'm not going to sit here and see my country disappear when, in fact, I'm supposed to be doing so much. So yes, Botswana is in there, and I'm able to then come in and out and find out how we are doing in terms of that. So I'm also trying to also welcome in the gentlemen who are here. Gentlemen, we are happy for your support. It is International Women's Day, but of course, there can be no women without men. We love you, and we know we cannot exist without you, vice versa, and we know we can build a world together where we all love each other and really support each other in our sustainable development. So it is a day, however, for us. So as I said, let's give ourselves a hand again for being ladies. Yes. Now, those of you who are on Facebook, by the way, I have how many? Because I'm also a politician. I could speak forever. But I'm going to just bring anecdotes because really it's a day for me, for celebration. So it will be here and there. The speech is here, and I think a few things we can take out of it, but I'll be just referring to it. But those of you who are on Facebook are aware that as of yesterday, day before yesterday, I was in New York. And I'm sure somebody were wondering, but we saw she's going to be at the stock. How is she going to be here? Doing the usual. I was there at the United Nations as chair of the HIV Prevention Coalition. And indeed, I was supposed to participate in today's activities at the United Nations in New York. Sort of, but I had to chicken out. Because what then happened was I got an inbox from Metapelo Miribam, here, one of those, where are you? I looked at it and I thought, wow, inviting me to this great event, and you should have seen the speed with which my airline tickets were changed. Suddenly I had this great thing to do at home, and it will also be International Women's Day. So, my bosses, well, I no longer have the bosses, really. I'm my own boss, but my bosses sort of, understood that I'm still here. It is still, part and parcel of United Nations. It's an International Women's Day, right? This is not August the 8th, the South Africa one, which is specific to South Africa. So it was great that I was released. But you can imagine, lesson one, of course, is that Facebook inbox works. Yeah, it does work. Especially on people who you have no idea where they are in the world at any one time. You might as well inbox it in. If I ignore it, I will. But really, if I'm available and you are saying something nice like ringing a bell, hey, I'm in there. So it was great. Yeah, well done, Tapel. Keep it up. So thank you so much, BSEL, for inviting me for this gathering and really giving me the honor to do the physical ringing of the opening bell. I would not have missed this day for anything in the world because, firstly, it gives me a chance to be home legitimately. When you are told global, it simply means, most of the time when you talk about your own country, it's like, no, but you are supposed to be global, so you shouldn't be in Botswana. Be somewhere, be in Swaziland, be in one. So, but now I'm in Botswana legitimately. And everybody knows I'm here, I'm participating very much. It's part and parcel of our program. And so it's great. But most important though, it gives me that chance to combine my passion, which is women, with really a learning opportunity about the Botswana Stock Exchange. I'm ignorant as a lot of you are. In fact, I was telling them that when it comes to even shares, Immediately after my husband passed away, I took all the shares we had and divided them among my children and said, guys, I won't have enough time to be, so everybody take care of your own. So I don't have anything. I don't think I have any share. Anyway, we'll see. But but that's all I have. So anyway, but now I'm learning, the trade, what's the volume is and all that. So it's really great. It will be great to know a little bit more. So in fact, it's really a learning experience. But as for the ringing of the bell, wow. I used to see this event on Wall Street on TV. And, supposedly signifying the starting of, the start of trading. And one time I accompanied our late president, Masire, to Wall Street, to the New York Stock Exchange for this particular honor. And I remember when I was there, all I remember is that I was so envious of him. And afterwards I kept saying, he didn't ring the bell properly. He didn't ring the bell properly, as if I would have done it much better myself. But hey, lesson number 2, those things do rub off. Here I am, I'm ringing our bell, So the lesson today it simply means if there is any young woman there who later will say, she did not ring that bell properly. You just never know. It could be you one day. So do you have the honor, invite me the day when you are called to come and ring that bell to say, now, today it is me. Yeah, it's really great. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, of course, March the 8th is really commemorating International Women's Day with the rest of the world. And we do not celebrate it. We hardly ever say celebrating. Why? Because we really still have a long way to go as women. Those of us who went to Beijing, some of you were not yet born or were very little, but we remember how much, we were scorned and people were saying women who have no morals, women who are married to wives, women who are too whatever. But we managed to change 22 laws that were discriminating against Botswana women. A lot of this needs to be documented because our young women are growing up in an environment where the discrimination is still there, but is so little compared to how we grew up. But they need to know that we had to sweat under that. Some of us had husbands who were supporting us so much that a lot of people who then were casting doubt and labeling women could not then find out, how come Professor Tu, I wasn't a professor then, how come Professor Tu's wife is one of them? He looks like he's a decent guy. Why is he allowing his wife to be one of them? And that changed the mindset of a lot of men. We found, therefore, men warming up to actually, even in Parliament, be agreeable to changing the laws. The last 2 laws that we put together when I was now minister, the first was domestic violence. That one wasn't as difficult putting forth, making it a law, as it was the abolition of marital power. Because there were only few of us women in Parliament, and there we had men, more than 50, who were literally saying to, let go of your power. So it meant really educating them, doing a lot. So thanks to that kind of thing, now partners in a marriage have to sign and, for selling or buying property. So, and that's not, a mean feat. Now we know at least. So we come from far. So that we really are saying, okay, we come from far. But at the same time, we are commemorating, but we are celebrating the achievements that are occurring so far. And indeed, Botswana Stock Exchange, we want to congratulate you for the achievements that we are seeing. And we are hoping that they will be sustained. It won't be like a 1 year and then 3 years later, something else happens. Because sometimes, we say innovation, but then it's because somebody comes in who is well-versed, who is, who wants to do a lot of things their way and be innovative for the better. But if then you don't build that spirit among your people, it simply means the day you go away, something else may happen, and you can never know. So I want to share just a little story. When I became regional director, After I left the ministry, I was hired by UNAIDS to say, what you did in Botswana, come and do for the rest of Africa. And the very first time when I called the people that I was supposed to be director of, the country directors from the various countries, 24 countries in Africa, I got there. You know how they're sitting in the room like you now. I come in and, they stand up, and the people who are standing up are white men and 2 white women and 1 black man. And I'm looking at this thinking, am I in Africa? Are these the people who are supposed to be responsible for HIV/AIDS in Africa? No, I decided, no, this is our epidemic. I have to change. So I talked to them, my ideas, what I think we're going to do. I went over and phoned my boss and said, Michelle, this is our epidemic. The phase that I'm seeing is not commensurate with what it should be. And therefore, I am going to change it. Within the few years that I'll be here, that complexion will have changed. And indeed, I can assure you, I decided to go head hunting. If I knew there was a Thapelo Muribami somewhere and I was advertising a post, I would say, apply. This was dictatorial because I would phone somebody and say, there's a post in such and such, look for it and apply for it. I was given that command. 4 years later, 50% of my staff were women. And I mean senior staff, the heads of the... And among these women, it was only 2 were white women. The rest were African women. Because I figured it's an African epidemic. It's more among women. It's the women who know what they're feeling and they should. And the others, of course, were half and half, black as well as white males. And it changed eventually to the point where when I left last year, I had only 1 white male woman, and she is in Kenya. And the Kenyans, even the president of Kenya, kept saying, my sister, so, now, what about... I said, no, as I work with you, we'll see what we do. Because in the ultimate, issues such as HIV, people, when you are talking to a head of state, and you are coming from a different climate, a different whatever, you sound like you are talking down on them. It's not the same as when you are saying, my brother, look, let's see what we can do for our people. And indeed, I saw that kind of ambience when I, as an African mother, was able to go around with the heads of state and talk to them. I would come to them and talk about lesbian, gay, transsexual issues and say, I am talking to you, Your Excellency, as an African mother. We have children, and they are not all male or female. Some are somewhere in between, but they are our children, and they deserve treatment. It made sense, rather than if it was somebody from Europe saying that. It just sounds now like, what is he saying? And therefore, that's why a lot of the African presidents will say, is the West, they are being influenced by the West. So in this case, I was saying, no, a lot of these people that I know, our children, they are not influenced. They were born that way. We just need to acknowledge it. So BSLE, lesson number 3. I know in your thing you said you don't discriminate with regard for Well, in there, can you be innovative and add sexual orientation? Yeah, because among your staff, there may be 1 or 2 who are just gay, who are just lesbians, but they need that space to feel themselves. It's really the way we need to go as a developing country, as a developing world, that tolerance. So it resonates, of course, with today's theme. The theme for the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women that has been selected for this year is Think Equal, Build Smart, Innovate for Change. We need to be innovative. And being innovative is also a very risky business. How now innovative you are thinking in your mind, and you are saying, I'm going to do it regardless of the risks involved. When I changed the complexion of the UNA's country directors, it was a risk. I risk being labeled, a regional director has come in, she's now a racist and all that. But it stood because it made sense, it stood the test of time. Even now, a lot of those are still there. Some have even been taken to China. I had to take one lady from Uganda all the way to China. And when I was told, are the Chinese going to accept her? I said, I have a China man in Botswana who is a country director. In the same manner, I can have an African as a country director in China. She is doing very well. So we're fine. That's innovation. You don't say, what will China? We simply say, no. They'll get there and they'll say to her, she. And she'll be fine. She'll be fine. So let me just say that worldwide, and even here in Botswana, they've already shared the statistics. I don't dwell a lot on statistics because I know we can get statistics. But we need to ensure that as we get the statistics, we're saying, what are we going to do about them? I usually say to people, the time for moaning and groaning is over. It's now the time for saying, what are we doing? And the BSEL is really showing that they are doing something about it. So that's the innovation we want. Let's give them a hand. Yeah. So we have specific measures that would facilitate equal opportunity and progression for women in organizations such as this, such as fully remunerated and adequate parental leave, and they did say paternity and maternity, right? Parental. And I'm hoping that one day when it's two people who are both of the same sex and say, we are expecting a child, we want parental leave, they will be given that parental leave. They will be parents. The future is bright. You just never, a lot of you heard what our president said. He did say that we are going to tolerate people who are different from us. So I am really hoping for the best. Yeah. So anyway, but adequate parental leave, support on returning to work, and of course, flexible working arrangements also are important. They still remain the exception in a lot of organizations throughout the world, but those entitlements are not really entitlements, they are best practices. Now, I looked, in concluding, I looked at 3 of your objectives in relation to women in sustainable development framework. You gave me objectives about the opening today. And I looked at 3 of them. And, it's a version that I want to share because I thought, okay, here they are, but let me put it for them so that they know that these are actually very gender, neutral objectives that can really be emphasized when we are dealing with gender issues at the workplace. One of them was to bring vibrancy and energy to the stock market. That's what you said, right? And I said, through leaving no one behind and ensuring that everyone participates equally in the development of Botswana. So that you also gave an example when you gave me your news of young people from Lobase who won a finance and investment competition. And it's really a great attestation to that objective, to really say we want to share, we want to educate. So congratulations on winning that award for education. It does show that you are doing great. You are really focusing on the geographic dividend that Africa is so proud of. And you are nurturing the new generation. I'm hoping that educational thing, the competition, does continue operating. So let's give them a hand. That's really great. And I understand it was won by Lobase Secondary School. So the next one will be won by St. Joseph's College, because that's where I come from, So anyway, but it's great. It's really showing that, that's that. And I want to also congratulate you on your statistics in terms of really the structure of women at the workplace. The lower, you are saying you are even better than the UN. At the United Nations, we can give you statistics, but we'll actually be saying, we won't be saying to you where those women are. Even if you say 56%, we mean that in the lower echelons, not at the high echelons. In your case, you are actually giving us percentage at the higher level, 57%. So it means it's really promoting women and ensuring that they're in effective management positions. And of course, as BSEL, you are showing us that there is no such thing as a glass ceiling. No, it is actually a bunch of men's bodies up there, that are just blocking, and they need to be moved. Just move them, and you see women come up once you do that. So it's really great. So nobody should ever talk of a glass ceiling. There's nothing like that. Bunch of men's bodies. That's what's blocking anyone, women who should be up there from going. So, and the second one was you want to make the stock market accessible to people. And I take it that the people are right here and you educate well. I got your magazine. So I want you to continue to really make our people aware of the finance, because in the ultimate, we are living in an economically challenged world. We have a lot of women entrepreneurs who are involved in informal, formal, and even mini businesses. But half the time they are not aware of the finance language. So I'm hoping that you can be able to partner with organizations that can give women and men the skills to be able to manage that and to ensure that they create employment for themselves and for other Botswana. So it is really great. And I know that, by 2015, during 2015, we were very far throughout the world. But now I'm seeing a lot happening in terms of, organizations that are really trying to strive for gender equality, but also try to strive for education to ensure that they lift as they climb. Because sometimes you climb, but you leave a lot of people up there. But lift as you climb. So the last one I did was where you are saying you raise issues that relate to the economy and welfare of the people. And you gave me an example of where you are dealing with the Kagisanyo Women's Shelter, which is really one way of saying women do face challenges sometimes that interfere with their advancement, interfere with their developing, and interfere with their participation in global sustainable development. But you are going to do something about it. These women need to be educated, they need to be assisted, they need to have lives, the women who are in the shelters, because right now, our own government is still really doesn't have shelters for battered men too and women. I always say men, but I do, having done a lot of research on violence, I know that, for every 100 women that are battered, is only one male who is battered. And when I did research in Botswana and actually found out if a male is battered, what happens was simply that he had been the one starting to batter this poor woman. Until one day, she was just turning around, not even doing anything. She's just turning around. And then she says, why? There's nothing in it. And then, of course, once it's a woman who starts, she doesn't stop. Kuri, she makes up for all those other times. So, and I remember this man who was telling me that, but you started it. Yeah, but now I used to just be there like month end when I didn't want to ask for money. But so anyway, but the point is that we need to be able to work with women in that. But not only that, as we are doing that, we need also advocacy to ensure that governments do take care of their citizens and not leave it to just civil society organizations who say, you are the ones who are going to do it. Yeah. So I'm urging you, therefore, to do what we can, but also to partner with organizations out there. I have just registered a foundation that will be dealing with issues of domestic violence, ending teenage pregnancies, ending harmful practices such as female genital mutilation and child marriages, as well as really ensuring that adolescents have access to contraceptive services, to sexual and reproductive health services, And mainly because I saw that throughout in a lot of countries, we do not even have NGOs that deal with that. So it is some of these that need, therefore, to be able to collaborate with. So to just ensure that we do have young people, the very demographic that Africa is proud of, coming up and saying, we are here and we can participate. So let me end by simply saying that UN indicates that 740 million women currently make their living in the informal economy with limited access to social protection, public service, and infrastructure. And this could increase their productivity and income security. But these are mostly young women, that very demographic dividend. If we could invest in young people, the UN estimates that the region, Africa, could double its global share of the labor force by 2050, unlocking a better life for hundreds of millions of people. In fact, very simply, if all girls received 12 years of quality education, women's lifetime earnings would increase by as much as 30 trillion, which is actually bigger than any economy can think of. So we can do a lot and really see the dividends without even going through a lot. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just conclude by stating that gender equality is a right. Fulfilling this right is the best chance in meeting some of the most pressing challenges of our time, from the economic crisis and the lack of health, all the way to climate change, all the way to violence against women, and indeed all the way to escalating conflicts, which, by the way, I'm glad to say they seem to be going down in Africa. I hope we don't have an epidemic, again. But right now, it seems like Africa, as we are going towards election, there's a little bit of peace. So we're hoping for the best. So BSEL, you are doing a great job, but do more and publicize it so that you can lift as you climb. It is therefore my pleasure to ring the bell to signify the opening of trading during this International Women's Day, March 8th, 2019. Thank you very much for your attention.
Sure everybody enjoyed it. I know that I definitely did, and I think I'm a bit starstruck right now. I'm just waiting for the screen to go back on, and then we will proceed to ring the bell. So of 1, 2, 3, let's ring.
Ringing the bell for gender equality.
We are now going to go to the last item in our program for today, which is the vote of thanks, which will be delivered by Mema Seropeto, who is our head of clearing and settlement.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me convey our deep sense of appreciation to our guest, Speaker Ma Rona, Professor Sheila Tlou. Thank you, Ma, for honoring our invite. And let me also thank her children. They are in our midst. Thank you so much for your support. I guess if it wasn't for you, she wouldn't be where she is right now. I must say that she has delivered her speech well elaborate on the issue of gender balance, the issue of the theme that you talked about, think equal, think smart, and be innovative, and our theme, balance for power, for better. I'm happy that she has slaved out for us, and that's why we have a voice. Not only women, but Botswana, she has really advocated for our voice. And let us give her a round of applause. We're also grateful to our Head of Finance, Mem Pomogasha, who shared with us on gender equality programs. And I must say that, yes, we've taken note of some of the issues that we haven't included in our conditions of service, as Maruna has said, sexual orientation and maybe even flexible working arrangement. I guess management here will look into that to see how we can actually incorporate those in our conditions of service. Gentlemen, thank you for coming. But I have some little discomfort. Where are our roses? Where are our chocolates on this day? Mamuri stated that according to research, women work hard, but they only take less. So a rose from our gentlemen in the house would have soothed us a bit. But anyhow, there's always next time. Yes. And I see you ladies. Thank you for coming. This is your day. This is our day. And I'm happy to see that majority of us here give aside. And thank you for coming to our bell ringing. We appreciate that. To our media, you have become part of us. Every time we cry out to you, you will leave whatever you're doing and come to support us. We really appreciate your support. We are now children of Botswana Stock Exchange. You would actually come running and drop whatever you'll be doing and come to support us. Thank you so much. Because without your support, we wouldn't be where we are. People wouldn't know what BCL is. People wouldn't know what shares are. People wouldn't know what investing in Botswana Stock Exchange is. So through your writings and in the newspapers, you help us even in educating the nation with regards to Botswana Stock Exchange. So thank you so much for coming. And I must say that this day is commemorated by other organizations in different forums elsewhere, but you choose to come and be with us. Thank you for choosing BSEL, and thank you for choosing to come and celebrate this day with us. Thank you for coming to share with us as we ring the bell. And thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, for coming. May God bless you.
Thank you, Mepeto. This brings us to the end of our proceedings for today. If you've got a piece of paper, which is our program for the day, it says refreshments and networking session. I'm going to take this opportunity because I think there's something that we take for granted in Botswana. It's that phrase, networking session. So today, especially to all the ladies in the room, I am urging you to use this opportunity to actually really network. It's actually your chance to mingle with the professor, and especially some of the women that we've invited who are leaders in many organizations in Botswana. Most of them are seated on the front row. This is your chance to get to talk to them. Let them know who you are and where you'd like to be, because you never know when your life might change. We are going to now proceed to usher our guest of honor and our invited guests into the boardroom, and then the rest of the members of the public and our other stakeholders, you are open to stay with us to mingle and all get to know each other. Thank you.